Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ilham Nugroho. I'm from English Education, Universitas Pekalongan. Today, I will show you about my simulation in teaching poetry for junior high school. And this simulation will focus on teaching vocabularies for junior high school. I hope this video will be useful thing for students and also teachers, especially for junior high school teachers and students. So, let's begin. Good morning, class. How are you today? I'm fine too, thank you. So, I know this is very exciting today because we know that we will learn about literature, and one of them is poetry. So, have you read a poetry? I think you have know about the poetry itself. So, today we will learn about the poetry. Okay, because you have know about the literature of Indonesia, I would like to share the other example of a literature in another side of Indonesia. And the literature is from America. Can you guess it? Who is the literature? You don't know about it? Okay, I would like to share the example. The literature name is Langston Hughes. He is a literature from America, and then he wrote, I think it's inspirational poetry. The title is What Happens to a Dream Different. Are you curious about it? Okay. Before we start to analyze the poetry, I would like to share that this poetry is very related with our condition today. I think young generation have a spirit, more spirit to work and then to be productive in a daily activity or daily activity. And then this and the daily activity also relate with the dream or the future. So I think young generation have many dream, and then they want to be a actor in their dream. So this is very relate with the dream of the young generation. Okay, I will read it now. Okay, I will read this poetry, but before I read the poetry, I will show you the picture about the poetry in left of my side. Okay, I think you have seen about my picture about the poetry. So let's begin to read the poetry. The title is What Happens to a Dream Different. Does it dry up like a rising in the sun, or faster like a shore and then run? Does it sting like a rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? That's the poetry. This is kind of short poetry, but I think this poetry have maybe it is very meaningful poetry for young generation, because you have a dream also, but you don't know how to make it happen, and you are so you give up about your dream. This is reflects to your dream if you don't make it happen a dream. So So we will analyze the poetry first. Okay, the title is What Happens to a Dream Deferred. So this is the title. I think this poetry is kind of a short poetry, but this poetry have a value. I think it's very valuable for young generation because the young generation have a lot of dream that maybe they can make it happen, but also most of the dream cannot happen for them. So it is like what happened to a dream deferred. You know, deferred it means ditangguhkan atau ditunda. This poetry entitled What Happens to a Dream Deferred. In bahasa, it can translate it apa yang terjadi untuk mimpi yang tertunda. Okay, we move to the line of the poetry. The first line is, does it dry up? And then the second line is, like a raisin in the sun. In bahasa, does it dry up? Apakah itu mengering? Then, like a raisin in the sun. Raisin it means like anggur yang dikeringkan, atau bisa dikatakan kismis. It called kismis in Indonesia in bahasa. Like a raisin in the sun. And then or faster, like a shore. Faster. What it mean faster? Faster means membusuk. And then like a shore, seperti a shore, sebuah luka. And then run, lalu menghilang. And then run. And then run it's the third in the fourth line of the poetry. Next is, does it sting like a rotten meat? In the fifth line, does it? Apakah itu? Sting. Sting itu berbau. Like a rotten meat. Seperti daging busuk. Itu adalah kalimat kelima. It's a fifth line of the poetry. And then the sixth line is, or crust and sugar over. Atau mengerak dan keras, atau mengeras, atau mengis. Sugar over, it's mean mengkristal, atau something like sugar that crystallize and then become a solid. It's like that. And then the seventh line is like a syrupy sweet, seperti sirup yang manis. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the eighth line, maybe it just sad. Maybe it just sad. Mungkin itu hanya sebuah beban atau terperosok. Like a heavy load, seperti beban yang berat. Jadi sad di sini, sad itu diartikan sebagai sebuah keterperosokan atau keterpurukan dari seseorang. Like a heavy load, seperti membawa sebuah beban yang berat. And then the last line is, or does it explode? Does it explode? It means, apakah itu akan meledak? Apa yang meledak? That is our dream that cannot happen. Yeah. So this poetry, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 10 line, and then it divided to it's divided to 3 stanza. The first stanza The first stanza is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line, and then the second is 2 line, and then the last stanza is just 1 line. So this is the component of the poetry itself. But in this lesson, in this material, we will focus about the vocabularies of the poetry. I think you have found the difficult words of the poetry. I think you raisin, just like I translate before. Raisin is it is a kismis atau anggur yang kering atau anggur yang dikeringkan. In the sun, di bawah sinar matahari. And then faster. What does it mean faster? Faster is membusuk. And then sure. Sure is luka. And then roen. Roen means bau busuk. Rotten meat adalah daging yang membusuk. So it smell like something bad. It's not good smell for our smelling. And then crust it means mengerang. And then sugar over, you can imagine sugar over when you make a syrup or you make a jam. It consists of sugar also, but the sugar crystallized and then make it the jam solid. That's the sugar over, like a syrupy sweet. And then maybe it just sag. Sag is keterpurukan. And then the last is explode, meledak. That's the meaning of the words in this poetry. So I think you have known about the poetry and then the meaning of this poetry and then the vocabularies that are used in this poetry. So this poetry is very valuable because a lot of value about the dream, because young generation of course have a lot of dream and then they want to make it happen, but when they give up of their dream, it will be something different and then it can impact for people. And this Langston Hughes try to present the picture of a dream that can be something happen. Maybe it can be a raisin in the sun, and then it can be a stinger like a rotten meat, and then maybe it can be just sag like a heavy load. So it depends in our mind. Maybe you can make it same like the Langston Hughes with another vocabularies that you used, but Langston Hughes described about the dream that cannot make it happen like that. Okay, because we know about the meaning of this poetry, I think we will move to the characteristic of this poetry. I think you have known that every poetry have a characteristic like a rhyme and rhythm. In the rhyme, we can know in the sound sun and then run. It's very similar because the sound sun and then the run it's similar. And then we can also face the similar sound in rotten meat with a syrupy sweet. Eat and eat, it's same sound in this poetry. And then we move to like a heavy load, or does it explode? It sounds like similar, load and explode. similar sound. So this is called as a rhythm in the poetry. And then when we try to read this poetry, we use a rhythm. The rhythm of this poetry, like slowly but sure, because Langston Hughes feels like they worried about he worries about the young generation that give up with their dream. So I think this poetry reflected their feeling, reflected Langston's feelings about young generation dream. I think that's all for me, but in this poetry, because we focus about the vocabularies that used in this poetry, not all of the element of the poetry. We just analyze the vocabularies and then the difficult word that used in this poetry. But in the next meeting we will learn about other element that's construct the poetry, like mood and then figurative language and beat, something like that. So I think that's all for me. Thank you very much for your nice attention. This is I think this poetry very valuable, and hope this poetry can be an inspiration for you as young generation to be brave and become a big dreamer of your life. Thank you very much for your nice attention. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.